Yes, yes, people, we are back live for a very different sort of video, a very different sort of stream today. We're going to be ranking Premier League clubs based on how they've done this season. So how it works is we're going to be ranking Premier League clubs in each tier, and we're gonna be giving our thoughts and opinions on each club, giving our opinions on what how their season has gone, how the season has been for each club. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Saeed's done his yesterday, so big up Saeed every time he's done a show with Grizz. So make sure you go check that one out as well, and make sure you tune in. Whoever's tuning in, please make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and obviously share it around with your mates. Um, but yeah, I've got King with me. We're gonna be doing this together, and hopefully Prime should be joining us in a bit if he's pulling through. What were we saying, broski? We good?
Yeah, all good, all good. Excited to discuss how the teams have done so far this season. It's actually been a very crazy season.
Yeah, it is.
So far, a lot of unexpected teams, a lot of unexpected results. So yeah, man, it's probably one of the best seasons in the past 10, I think, in my mind, in terms of how close the teams are, and it'll be interesting to see how we feel about each team's season. So yeah, can't wait to get it started.
Yeah, bro. I can't wait, man. Uh, it's gonna be interesting. But let's bring it up. So as I'm just sharing this on Twitter right now. Hold on a minute. Yeah. So yeah, we've got starting at the top. We've got amazing, good, average, poor, and abysmal. So we're gonna be giving our in-depth thoughts on 20 Premier League teams so far this season. Let's start with let's actually start with Nottingham Forest. Yeah, we'll go in order actually. Let's start with Nottingham Forest. I think they've had a good season so far. I think they've had a really really good start to the season. They're only like what? How many points off the top four? Or they're in the top four. I think I can't remember where they are, but I think they're just above Arsenal if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
They're fifth. They're fifth on same points. There are four teams on the same points. They're fifth.
right. So for Nottingham Forest's purposes, like to be where they were last season, like, I think they were just in the relegation battle last season, if I'm
Yeah,
not
just
mistaken.
just survived.
It's crazy to even think that they're right there, like in the top four right now. Real talk. I think this is something that you don't really like see often. As what we saw with like when Leicester won the Premier League, you don't really see like many like surprises like this in the Premier League. Well, obviously you saw we see West Ham finishing sixth a few years ago, but that's not really much, even though they won the Conference League. But now I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But I think they've had a good season, bro. I think Forest have had a good season. It's to be where they are right now, fifth. I think it might be a purple patch. We'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna be wrong. I don't know if I'll be right. Next game's against Arsenal, but Forest at home. Forest away at Arsenal next week. We'll see. They've been really good at home this season. On the road, I think they've not lost a game away to home this season, if I'm not mistaken. If that's true, they've only lost two games at home, and they're pretty much unbeaten away from home. Um, but what are you saying? I think they've had a good season.
For me, considering how the team how they were last season compared to this season, I would say it's an amazing season so far because they're a team that you wouldn't expect to be in the top four race at this point. Um, like if it was like the first 5 games, you may say it's a fluke, but it's 11 games in. Defensively, they've been very solid. One of the best defenses in the league. They've had big scalps. They drew with Chelsea. They beat Liverpool. So They've had big victories and big points against some of the top teams in England. So
Mm.
and I like the way they're playing. Um, I like the way Nuno has them set up. They're very defensively solid. They got two quality wingers in Elanga and Hudson-Odoi who can counter at fast speeds. So they lull you into kind of like a defensive structure. They counter you, and for me, the way they play isn't sustainable for the whole season, but it's enough for them to be within that kind of realm of a European spot, which is not something you would say about Nottingham Forest. So for them to be fifth, joint points with the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal, I think so far for me that would for Nottingham Forest that's an amazing season. And I think if you're a Nottingham Forest fan, you're in dreamland right now.
I think we're going good. I think let's just get out of the way. I think good season so far.
You think good? I would say amazing, but if
No,
you think good, then I'd say higher in terms of the good. Then
I probably put them in first in like good, like that.
okay.
Like they're right there. Like if we're gonna go with good, I think we should go. I think we should go with that. Arsenal Football Club. I shouldn't be laughing because I'm a United fan and we're 13th, but we're only 4 points off. So I don't know. Average season, in my opinion. Real talk. What they've done the last 2 seasons to be within touching distance of the Premier League title, right? To only now go and have a summer window that they just had, not signing a striker, not signing a backup to Saka, not strengthening where Odegaard, not giving Odegaard his backup. I think Mikel Merino is an okay signing. I don't think he's a fantastic signing. I think he's not going to strengthen Arsenal as much, but Arsenal needed a striker, and I think their transfer window has been poor. Calafiori was not needed. I think Arsenal needed to go and get a striker more than Calafiori. Calafiori is a good signing, but Calafiori was not needed by Arsenal. That's what I think. They've already got a good defense, so why would you go and get Calafiori? Like, you've already got enough backups. I think you go and sign. I think you go and sign a striker with the money, and you could have actually Arsenal could have got Ivan Toney before he went to the Saudi. They could have got Ivan Toney for a good deal as well. And
yeah, definitely.
I don't know, man. I just think I think it's been an average season by Arsenal. To be 9 points off the top right now, to be 9 points off the top when they should be capitalizing on Man City's mistakes, capitalizing on Man City's recent losses, right? Couple losses. Arsenal have not won a game in how many games now? Like, when was the last time they won a match? Like a game. When was the last time they won a game?
I think it's 4 games they haven't won.
They have not won a game in 4 games, and they're 9 points off Liverpool. Liverpool are top of the league.
Yeah, 2 draws, 2 losses in the last 4.
I think it's been average, bro.
I think it's been worse than that. I think for me personally, I would say poor.
I wouldn't say poor yet. Sorry, let me say this. I don't think it's been poor yet, because I think if Arsenal maybe 13 or 14 points off, then it's poor. But right now they're only within single digits of points off of Liverpool. So I will still say average, because Arsenal's still in the Carabao Cup. They're still in the Champions League. So
is it just based off the whole season, or just based off their Prem?
This is based off every competition for every club. So yeah.
Because the Champions League stuff, they've been okay in.
Yeah,
they did have a loss against Inter Milan.
Yeah.
In terms of the Carabao Cup, they're in that, but do I think they're going to win it with the teams left in it? I don't think so. To be 9 points off at this point in the season, there's no team in the history of the Premier League that's been 9 points off the top at this point of the season to come back and win the league. No team. So for me,
no, they have. There's been Man City won the league when they were 9 points off before, and I think United won it before as well when they were 9 points off. But sorry, go on, bro.
No, at this point of the season, I don't think so. I think that the highest was 8. I saw a stat.
No, I think United were 9 points off at one point. I think in 2008, 9 or something. I think they were 8 points off. I think they were 8 or 9 points off the top.
Yeah, it was 8 points. It was 8 points. No, never 9.
Right.
It was 8 points was the highest, and that was City and United. 9 points at this point no team's ever done that, I think. And for me to have
I,
already lost two games, to already be this far behind Liverpool, to not capitalize on what Man City are not doing. Man City have lost the last 4 games, and they're still 5 points ahead of you. For me, that's a disgrace for Arsenal, and I think I would say it's poor because they should be in the title race, and they're looking like they're going to be in the top 4 race, which means they're going backwards, in my opinion. So if you
I,
look at compare it to last season, they're going backwards. So
mm,
that's not average, that's poor. Average is for them to be around where City is, 21, 22 points, within 5 points of Liverpool. Right now, they're around Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Brighton. They
mm.
shouldn't be there.
I think
They-
Arsenal have players. Sorry, continue what you're saying. Continue what you're saying.
yeah, no, carry on. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying Arsenal have good players, and I think I pinned this on Mikel Arteta completely, and Edu, because there's been a I think apparently from what I've heard, there's been like a disagreement behind the scenes of like Arsenal and like behind the scenes. That's why Edu left. I think the reason why Edu left was because there was some disagreement with him and like some of the board members or Arteta about that. Edu wanted to sign this and that, and Arteta was like, nah, something like that. I think I pinned this on Arteta, man. I really do. You can't be in your 5th year challenging for 2 leagues in a row and then going backwards to a top 4 race. I don't think that's good enough. But I don't think Arsenal have been poor. I think it has been poor from their standards. But if they were not, but they're not within double-digit points off the top of the league yet. That's why I'm still saying it's average. Because if they were double-digit points off the top of the league, then I would completely say poor, or maybe even abysmal. I go as far as
I would still go with poor for me. I think the highest of poor in terms of like it's the middle point between poor and average. But for me, if you're going backwards, that's poor to me. If I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm looking at it and I've seen my team go twice, second twice, and now I'm fifth behind Chelsea and behind you're fourth behind Chelsea, who last season were what, eighth, and most of the season were 12th, and on the same points as Forest and Brighton. um you're probably one or two bad games away from being out of sight. And it's very possible, especially with the fixtures coming up. Obviously, Arsenal's fixtures coming up are going to be difficult for them,
mm,
especially with the players not being 100%. They've got Forest, and they've got Forest next. They draw or lose that. If they don't win that game, they they could go from third and fourth till all the way to seventh, eighth, ninth.
that's
Because that's
crazy.
just like that. So for me,
If
I would
United
I
beat
would say
Ipswich, yeah,
poor.
Arsenal drop points to Nottingham Forest, we are 2 points behind them.
Exactly. Imagine if Forest wins
The
that game.
worst United team in God knows how fucking long, yeah.
Yeah,
Compared to what like this Arsenal team that's supposedly so great. If to only be 2 points off, that's crazy.
exactly.
But
So
actually, you know what,
that's
bro? I agree with you. Let's put it in poor. I
that's
actually
why I
agree with
say
you.
it's poor.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's why I say it's poor.
Based on the
I-
circumstances, how many points they're off of other teams. I know it's still 11 games, and I know it's still like tie
They've
everything.
got time to turn it around,
But
but
yeah, of course, of
at
course, of
this
course.
moment, it's just poor to me.
No, I hear that completely. I still think there's a lot of time to turn it around. I'm not saying that it's done or it's done and dusted or anything. I just think that now we're still in the in like the early days of the season, so we can't really like we can't really say like 100% of where and what's been going on. So we can't really say that the be all end all is they'll be in the top 4 race. Being 9 points off is not massive yet. It's massive in terms of who's at the top of the league and who Arsenal are coming up against, right? And especially now with Arne Slot coming into Liverpool, this is his first season and he's top of the league. If I hear Babs saying, yeah, like if Arteta loses to Liverpool, yeah, the league to Liverpool, or finishes below Liverpool, that's Arteta's biggest failure at Arsenal. I disagree. I think Arteta's biggest failure at Arsenal was not spending on a striker when they needed one, and not finishing in the top four when they literally had it in their hands. Or you know what is the biggest failure? Biggest failure is not winning the league when you were 8 points clear.
Yeah.
That failure. That
I
is
think
failure. Don't be
wasn't
mentioning
it
losing
like
to
90,
Liverpool.
70, 70, 80% they were top of the league for that season?
Exactly, bro. And Man City were only top for like what 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like you can't be telling me that's not Arteta's biggest failure as an Arsenal manager. That's you fumbled it so hard,
All
man.
he's had was failures at Arsenal. Let's be honest.
He's won an FA Cup with Unai Emery's team, so I don't know.
Yeah, but that's
Because
not good enough for Arsenal.
let's not forget Saka was brought up by Unai Emery. Martinelli was brought up by Unai Emery. All these players that were in that Arsenal team were Unai Emery's players. So I think David Luiz was also Unai Emery's player, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's poor, man. I really think it's been poor from Arsenal. Like real talk, like you can't be 9 points off this early in the season, especially how you started the last 2 seasons. You started last 2 seasons very, very well.
Yeah.
You still have time to turn it around, but when are you going to turn it around? Is my question. When are you going to turn it around? You've got. I'm not. I don't think I don't know if we'll beat them away. I don't think we'll beat them away at Emirates. I think United will beat them at the Emirates. But they got Forest. They've got Fulham. I think they've got Fulham. They've got United. Even though I don't think we'll beat them.
They've got some good fixtures coming up. Like
Bro,
Forest will be difficult.
Yeah.
Fulham is away. They got Everton and then Palace
They
away.
still have to
So
go to
it's
to
just
Anfield in the
here or
title
there.
run. They still have to go to Anfield in the title run as well. So let's not forget that. So
Yeah.
if you finish below Arne Slot, yeah, Arteta has to go.
Yeah,
If you finish below Arne Slot, which I think it will happen, Arteta has to go. Because you can't be competing for the league for 2 years straight and falling behind somebody who's not competing for the league properly in the last 2 seasons. Falling behind a team whose managers in this first phase, while you're in your fifth phase, and you spend 800 million. Crazy.
yeah,
Arsenal spent a lot of money and they're still not top of and they're still not won the league. At least with United, I can say we've won some trophies. I mean, I know Arsenal fans are gonna dismiss that saying, "What trophies? The FA Cup, Carabao Cup, doesn't matter. It's still trophies at the end of the day. It's still trophies, and the aim of sport is to win. So if you can't be dismissing trophies, mate, you can't be dismissing trophies. Arsenal poor season so far. Let's go to Brentford.
yeah. Brentford, they're 11th in the table, just average, I think. I think considering they've lost Ivan Tony, and
For a club like Brentford, yeah,
it's just been an average season.
We're just going off of expectations, yeah, of every club. We're not going off of like just league position. We're going off of expectation, like of and obviously where they are in the table, and the circumstances around it. But Brentford, though,
Yeah, I think I think it's average
I'm gonna
because they're where they're meant to be. I don't
I'm
think they
gonna
go any higher. Don't get any lower.
I'm gonna be harsh. I'm gonna go with poor because they didn't replace Ivan Tony properly. I know Embuemo, Wissa scoring goals, but you had the money to go replace Ivan Tony and you didn't go replace him. That's the problem. They didn't go replace Ivan Tony when the money came through. So I don't know if Ivan Tony left after the English deadline or he left before the English deadline. Whenever he left, Brentford should have gone in and replaced him when they had the money to do it, but they didn't. And where are they in the table right now? Let me just go to get that. Let me just bring that up.
They're 11th, 16 points, same points as Tottenham.
Same points as Tottenham. And they're 11th. Okay, hold on. Let me just bring this up. Their goal difference is about 0, same as United's. They're a point above United. Mm, you know what? You're right. I probably go average. Yeah, considering the expectation is not even to finish like not even mid table standard like
Yeah,
Brentford. But still, I still stand by what I said. They should have gone and replaced Ivan
yeah,
Toney
definitely.
when
That's
when the
that's
money came.
100%.
Because Brentford could have, because Brentford, if they have a striker that can finish, the chances they could be up higher than this. They could literally be higher than this, in my opinion. And yeah, I probably go average as well. I can't lie. I probably go average.
Yeah, and
Um,
Mbeumo's been cold this season. He's got 8
yeah,
goals already,
he
so I've
has.
liked
Yeah,
what he's done. So
a
he's
great
stepped up.
FPL. He's a great FPL asset as well.
Yeah, he's definitely stepped up this season.
Mm, yeah, I hear that. Um, let's move on to Leicester. I think abysmal season. 10 points. 10
I agree.
points.
I agree. I agree. I actually agree because they lost their manager Enzo Maresca, and then they
Yeah,
didn't replace him with a good enough one.
bro, they went for a Nottingham Forest reject with
Yeah,
their biggest rivals, and they went for a manager. Bro, I'm tired, yeah, and the owners are yeah, bro. Kuntop, man, do something. I want Leicester to stay in the Premier League, man. Kuntop, you must do something, man. Come on, man. I want Leicester to stay up, bro. I have a lot of respect for Leicester, man. A
yeah,
lot of respect for Leicester. Like, I have zero hate for us, Leicester, man. I have nothing against them at all. They're I consider them a Thai team, you know. I can't lie. I consider them a Thai team, even though they're from the UK. And look, Leicester City, yeah, poor man. Vardy's getting on. You need to look for someone to replace him soon. And if Leicester want to stay up, they're gonna need to get consistent points.
yeah.
I know they just beat South. I know they just beat like what they just beat Bournemouth at home, but that's not good enough. They just got absolutely thumped by United away. They got thumped by because you know what it is. A lot of the players that I'm still seeing at Leicester City are the same players that have been there where they got relegated. That's
Exactly.
the thing. But the players that helped them get back up in the Premier League, they were coasting through that league. They were coasting through the championship. So I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, I'd probably say abysmal, man. I just don't see.
it might be a bit harsh. I think it's
It
a
is
little bit
hard,
harsh.
but Leicester didn't do much in the transfer market to get to get to where they should be.
Yeah,
I think Leicester, because you know what it is, the team that Leicester got relegated with, right, was not as bad as people think because they had Madison, they still had Vardy, they still had a lot of good players on the team. They still
yeah.
had
They
Pereira.
lost a lot of them as well.
They had
But
a lot of them, and they didn't replace them properly when they came back. That's the problem. Unless they hardly spent money when they came back to the Premier League. I know they've been hit with like the pandemic and everything.
financial stuff as well.
Because the King Power in Thailand, the business was the owner, like the business dropped because of like financially, because of the pandemic and everything like that. So the
Yeah,
pandemic hit a lot of businesses. Obviously, they didn't make much money, but still, Leicester City, like they should be doing better than this now. Like
yeah.
now is where you make your comeback. And I think if Leicester want to stay in the Premier League, they're gonna have to do better. I'm gonna be harsh. I'm gonna say abysmal. I'm saying abysmal.
You know what?
I
I'm gonna agree with you on the one. They're just in like the middle pot
actually
between
no.
abysmal and poor.
Actually no. Poor. Might go poor.
Poor.
I
All right.
I think they scrape poor because we'll rearrange it later. Maybe this is we'll just lay out everything first, and then maybe we have
Yeah, we'll
some.
see
We'll come back to
what
it
they
later.
look like.
Yeah, we'll come back to it later.
Yeah,
Tottenham,
they're
poor.
poor as well, aren't they?
Poor. I know they beat us 3-0 away, but United had 10 odds, so I don't know. We
Yeah,
had
but
10.
they've
So
already got 5 losses. They're middle of the road.
they lost to Palace 1-0 away as well.
Yeah,
They lost to Brighton after being 2-0 up. They lost to Galatasaray. Like, nah, man. I think it's been poor, man.
not even worse. I think it's been abysmal for them actually.
You think abysmal?
Yeah, because they were a team that should be in the top 4 race, and they're looking like
Ooh.
mid-table fodder.
I don't think it should be in a top four race, man. I personally, for me, where I expected Tottenham to finish, I said they finish eighth.
Hey,
I said they'd finish eighth. Yeah, I said they would finish eighth.
I had them top
So
7. I had them top 7 because I thought, with their manager, the players they have, especially with the signings of Solanke and stuff like that. They
I
spent
had
60 million on him. So
I had Villa about mid-table because I think Villa won't be able to cope with the Champions League schedule and the Premier League schedule, and they're not signed much.
mm,
So I probably I'm gonna go with poor. We'll rearrange this later. I probably go poor. What
yeah,
do you
we'll put
think?
them. I think abysmal, but I wouldn't mind poor either, to be honest.
Actually, let's go with abysmal first. I can't lie. I think we'll go. I think we'll go with our first abysmal. But give me your more thoughts on Tottenham, because I think, considering what they've done in the Europa League, that's not been good enough.
No, I think the Europa League standing was terrible. The game against Galatasaray, they should have lost that game 6-7-0. To be honest, they
Mm,
got bodied. In recent weeks, they've been losing on and off. It's like they lose, they win, they lose, they win. They're so inconsistent. The defensive structure falls apart without Van der Ven. Um, they just seem to me as a team that could be so much better, but
mm,
I don't know if it's a manager thing or if it's a personnel thing. Also,
right.
their wingers are terrible. I'll be honest, they don't have any decent wingers.
Johnson
Son is
Johnson.
past it.
You know,
Werner is trash.
I think Son is more of a striker than he is now than he's a winger.
Exactly. He needs to
And
be a striker more than a winger. And then,
and Brendan Johnson's. I think he had his purple patch.
yeah,
I think he had his purple patch, but the thing is, right, with Brendan Johnson is he can't finish his chances.
yeah,
One of do you know the game that I think I was watching a couple of weeks ago? I think Spurs beat someone like before they played Villa. I remember they were playing someone at home, or was it Brentford, or was it I don't remember who it was. Oh, it was against West Ham. Sorry, West Ham. Brendan Johnson missed a heck of a lot of chances that day. He missed an open header as well. And do you know what it is, Brendan Johnson? He can be a good player. But the problem is he's just not taking his chances, and he's just not clinical.
too
He can
inconsistent for me.
player. He's not consistent. That's the problem. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go with the Abysmal for as of now.
yeah,
We'll rearrange this later, but we'll just. But I'm gonna go with Abysmal. What do
yeah,
you think?
yeah.
Considering what you're saying, but
I'll keep it
considering,
with that. I just think, yeah, their wingers are terrible. I think their attack is inconsistent as well. I like Solanke. I think he's a quality striker. Midfield is decent, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So yeah, it's just as soon as they get a couple injuries here or there in their team, it just kind of falls apart. I said without Van der Ven in their defense, I don't think they can do the defensive style that they play.
mm,
And yeah, it's just it. I just think that they haven't spent enough on their team in the defensive end for them to be, you know, up there. But yeah, they've just been very for me. They've just been abysmal in terms of you, by this point, you can't lose 5 games and think you'll have ambitions of maybe getting into Europe. You're meant to be a big six team. So that means top six minimum, right? This is a team that's wanted to win cups and stuff like that. They're in a competition in Europa League that they could win. They're
they're
one
still
of
in
the
the
better.
Carabao Cup. They play us as well
Yeah,
at home.
it's
So
still in the Carabao Cup, but if they continue to play this poor style, they could lose to United in the Carabao Cup. They could go out of the
I
Europa
hope
League.
so. But the thing is, we're in a transitional period, so we're not really like
Yeah, it
they're
can go
yeah.
either way with that kind of game. So I don't know. I think so
Yeah.
far, I think it's
It's a cup
been
game,
very poor for them.
and
Very
it's a
poor.
cup game, and I hope we do get our revenge. But
Yeah,
I don't want to say revenge because the way they beat us at home. But new manager, we'll see. I'll probably go abysmal as of now. West Ham United. Now this one is where I'm gonna go with another abysmal one here.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. They have one of the worst managers. Uh, of before it was Ten Hag, but now they have the worst manager in Lopetegui.
You know what it is with Lopetegui? I don't think he's actually a bad manager, as he seems, because what he's done with Sevilla, like Sevilla, he took Sevilla, I think, in 15th place, something, to the Europa League. Like he won the Europa League with Sevilla or something. I don't remember when he won it with Europe with Sevilla, but I think he beat us with. I think he beat us. He beat us with Sevilla. So I don't know. Yeah, West Ham for me abysmal, man. The summer signings that they made, yeah, I think they got Fulkrug, they got Todibo, they got who else? They let go of, who did they let go of?
I think Kurt Zuma. I think.
No, I think I remember them letting go of someone this summer. I can't remember who they let go of, and then they got the year before was Declan Rice, but someone else that just let go of. I can't remember who it was.
Let me check.
But regardless, I still think it's been an abysmal season. The way Lopetegui's coached them, the way he set their team up, the summer signings they made, you'd expect them to like finish mid-table, above mid-table.
Yeah, they signed Wan-Bissaka, got Rodriguez, Guilherme, Fall Creek, Somerville, Kilman. They let go of Kera, Benrahma, Downs. So if you look,
Right.
they've improved their team, but they're worse than last season. Way worse than last season.
I know they beat us, but that was the Ten Hag dagger, so I'm glad they did. Well, yeah, I'd probably go abysmal, man. I think West Ham should be much better than what they are right now.
Yeah.
Real talk. What do you think? You can elaborate more on this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Lopetegui has been very poor. Especially the attacking talent they have with the likes of Kudos, Paqueta, players of that ilk, Somerville as well. I'm not sure. I just think he's not a poor manager, but I just think he's a manager that doesn't suit the Premier League. There's certain, you know how like certain players don't suit the Premier League. I think he's just a manager that just doesn't suit this league. Because when you saw him manage Wolves, he was poor with them too. So I just think he's just not built. His system doesn't work in this league, and what he's trying to do with the players is just not working. He's trying to get them to do a style that they're not used to, and they've been very poor. They've had a very poor start because of it.
Yeah, I hear that. I think abysmal is fair. I think only will change it. I think that's fair, bro. Liverpool. I don't want to talk about them, bro. Put them amazing and move on. Put them amazing and move on, man. Fuck this.
You don't want to talk, but I will. Arnie Slot, first season, 9 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Yeah, pretty much close to perfection as you can get for a new manager. They play a much different style to Jurgen Klopp. It's much more of a style that where they try and keep the ball composed. Yeah, and the way they play, and Gravenberch has been one of the players of the season. He's unlocked him into a new demon. Luis Diaz is on fire. Salah is just, at his tantalizing best. Even Trent is starting to defend this season better than I've ever seen him before. So for me, I think this is probably the greatest. This is probably one of the greatest kind of starts for a first season manager I've seen since the likes of maybe a Jose Mourinho. That's the last time I saw this kind of start with a manager.
They've got Real Madrid next as well, so that'll be a big test for them. Even though Real Madrid's form is up in the greatest of forms as of late, Real Madrid is still it's still Real Madrid. Like, you're not gonna knock it past Real Madrid. I still think that they can still get there. I still think that'll be a tough game. Liverpool in all competitions, they've only lost 1 game this season so far.
Only one to the Forest.
I don't know how many draws they've got. They got 2 draws?
Yeah, only a couple draws.
They drew to Arsenal. They drew to... Who was the other team they drew to? No, sorry, they drew once. They drew once, and then they lost once. Yeah, that's it. That's all they've done. They've only drawn
in the league. Did they draw in the Champions League?
No, I don't think so. I think Liverpool won every other game in the Champions League.
Let me check.
Unless they drew to somebody, I can't remember who they did.
No, they won all the games in the Champions League as
well.
They
won all
the games.
So yeah, they can't.
They've pretty much been as close to perfection as I said.
Exactly.
1 draw, 1 loss. So yeah.
And I think Liverpool go and win the league, in my opinion, personally. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't want to fucking talk about them anymore. Let's move on, bro. Move on. Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town. Poor considering the hype around Kieran McKenna, considering the hype around what Ipswich could have brought to the Premier League, a bit of style, a bit of style play. I know they just wanted Tottenham away. I think I'd say poor as of now, because they've only just got their first win in the Premier League like last week, and the Premier League started how many, like 10 weeks ago, 11 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna say poor. But what do you say? What do you think? You can elaborate on this one, bro. Continue.
It's, to be honest, they're a very weird team because they've looked good in games. They've had decent draws and they've just won a game, but yeah, I just think poor, maybe close to abysmal, just because of the way they're playing, the style they're playing. And I expected more from McKenna. He's one of those managers that looks like one of the guys that's going to be next up. So we'll see as the season progresses. I think poor for now is probably makes the most sense. I couldn't tell you that I've watched a lot of Ipswich Town because it's not a team that I care too much about.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm probably gonna say poor, man. I can't lie. Even though Kieran McKenna is a supposed really good manager, even though he's this he's gonna get Ipswich with the style of play, make him tougher to play against. I don't know, but we play them next. Hopefully we beat them away. It's Amarim's first game as the United manager. We'll see, man. I'm probably gonna say poor, but we'll maybe switch it around later or something like that. Next, Aston Villa. I'm gonna say average for this one. Reason why I say average is because their results in the Champions League are better than their results in the Premier League. And they've already been knocked out of the Carabao Cup at home to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
They've lost 4 games on the bounce in the Premier League. And they lost 1 game in the Champions League through to like an accidental by Tyrone Mings. I'm probably gonna say average because their season in the Champions League has been much better than their season in the Premier League. I think they started off really well in the Champions League. Apart from this poor loss that they just had, I'm probably gonna say average, bro. I think average for Aston Villa. That's what I think.
They've had back-to-back losses in the Premier League. Their Champions League form has been amazing, actually. To be honest, they're probably one of the better teams in the Champions League. Yeah, they could be lower end of good, higher end of average, around that, because I've liked what they've done in the Champions League. They've had some shock results against some big teams as well. I think they beat Bayern, pretty sure, and a few other teams. But yeah, in the Premier League, they've just let it go in the last couple of weeks. So if it wasn't for the last 2 results, I would have put them in good. But the last couple of results in the Premier League has lowered them down to average in my mind.
Yeah, I because their result against Bayern Munich, their result against who was their first game against? Was it Club Brugge that they just lost to 1-0? And they lost to they won 2 other games before that. I remember they won against they hadn't conceded they didn't even concede a goal till this week till this recent Champions League week actually. That was their first goal conceded in the Champions League.
Yeah, they beat Young Boys, they beat
Bayern Munich 1-0
they
at
beat
home.
Bayern, they beat Bologna.
Which I called it, by the way.
Yeah.
I had a really good feeling that was gonna happen that day. People could say, you're this, you're that. No. I called it.
It's their November form. They've lost 3 in a row.
They lost they lost 3 in a row or 4 in a row. I think that's why they lost 4 in a row. They lost
League Cup as well, 4 in a
League
row.
Cup, and they lost to Spurs last week. They lost it. They lost this week to Bournemouth. Wait, no, I'm sorry.
They lost to Liverpool.
They lost to Bournemouth at home. Oh, they lost to Liverpool. Yeah. And they lost to. Did they lose to Bournemouth the week before as well?
They lost to Spurs the week before 4-1, and then lost to Club Brugge in between in the Champions League.
When was their game against Bournemouth?
Before Palace, they drew 1-1. So they drew against Bournemouth, lost to Palace. Lost to Palace. Then they lost to Spurs, lost to Bruges, lost to Liverpool. So yeah, they haven't won in 5.
No wins in 5 games. So, I think it's been average, man. I'm gonna go with
average.
Crystal Palace, abysmal.
Yeah.
The hype around Crystal Palace last season, the football they were playing with Glasner, they sold Elise, sold Anderson, and then what? I guess Elise was getting offered by Bayern Munich. You can't turn that down, right? From Crystal Palace to Bayern Munich, the jump. But
But they
what
didn't
did you?
replace him.
But what did you do with Joachim Andersen? What did you do with Joachim Andersen? You let him go to London rivals Fulham, right? Who we're going to talk about in a minute, right? You let him go to Fulham and you didn't replace him. He's one of your best. He's probably your best defender, and you let him go and you didn't even replace him properly. He could have been offered. He could have got offers from bigger clubs, but you let him go to Fulham, and you did replace him. Nah, man, I'm just gonna go straight into abysmal. Crystal Palace, like right there, abysmal. I know they beat Tottenham. I know they beat Villa, but I'm sorry. Like
They're in the relegation zone at the
yeah, they're in
moment.
the relegation zone, man. I hope they get relegated as well. I don't like Crystal Palace, man. I really don't. I just don't like them as a team. It's whatever. It is what it is.
No, I like their team. I think they just never replace Olise. The Joachim Andersen sale never made sense to me because for me, if you were
Yeah,
going to sell him, you sell him to a better team than you, not to a
exactly.
rival.
You sold him to a London. You sold him to like your closest rival, so your London rivals, and you didn't replace him. That's even worse. If you let him go to like a Chelsea, like a United, Liverpool, some City, for example, then that's not embarrassing.
Yeah,
But if you
but
let him go,
they
you let him
replaced
go
him
to
with
Fulham,
that vibe guy, but I don't think he's that good. What's his name?
nah.
Craw.
I think Crystal Palace were lucky in a lot of games this season to not lose. It was one of the games against United where we could have absolutely destroyed them, but we couldn't take our chances.
Yeah,
And we're going to get there. And speaking of Manchester United, they're next. They're next. And as a United fan, I'm putting them straight into the very front row of abysmal. Very front row of abysmal. Real talk. Very front row. No debate right there. We've had a shocker of a start to it. We've had a shocker of a season so far. An absolute shocker. I know Ruud's come in and he's steadied the ship a little bit in a way. He's got a few results here and there. But come on, man. Like, really? You've drawn 3 games in the Europa League. Yes, we're through in the Carabao Cup. We've only got our first win in Europe in like about 12 games.
10 games. Yeah, 10 games.
12, 11 games. And in the Premier League, we've got destroyed by teams. We couldn't take our chances in some games. We lost to teams we shouldn't be losing to. Nah, put them in front row of abysmal, man. Put them in front row of abysmal. This is fucking embarrassing. From a United fan perspective, I'm fuming with this. Real talk. I'm absolutely fuming with the way the season has started. We could have sacked Ten Hag, yeah, and we could have gotten a much better manager, and we could have had a better season than what we've had right now. We could have gone for Ruben Amorim in the summer, and none of this would have happened, in my opinion.
Yeah.
None of how we started the year could have happened. It's been an absolute terrible start to the season, and I know we're 4 points off fourth, but what does that do for us? What does that do for us?
Too many teams
Absolutely
ahead of you.
but we've been absolutely shocking to watch this season as well, up until Ruud van Nistelrooy came in.
And even then, you've been with Ruud. You haven't played that well.
No, we've not played great, but the results
have been a bit better.
It was more relieving under Ruud van Nistelrooy than it was under Ten Hag. Because Ten Hag was more of like he drained a lot of the energy from United fans away.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So yeah, front row abysmal, bro. Put them front row.
The rival in me would say amazing because it has been amazing to see the
downfall.
Of
course. We're only 4
I was sad when Ten Hag got the boot. I mean, I knew it was. As a football fan, I knew it was coming. I think it was too late, and even though I think there's a possibility for you to turn it around, I don't see that many teams ahead of you dropping off like that for you to get top 4, maybe top 6, maybe 6th, 7th. I think is United's ceiling this season.
I think we should go for the Europa League.
That's what I'm saying. United need to look at the Europa League.
That's where I think we throw it. Nah, put him in front row, man. I ain't doing this shit, bro. Front row of abysmal, man. Yeah,
abysmal.
Yeah, front row of abysmal, man. I ain't having this shit, man. Front row, man. We're trash. Hopefully we turn it around though. Big up Ruben Amorim. We'll be going live in a bit, but discussing his first press conference, people. So make sure you tune into that. We'll be going live in a little bit. Again, Southampton. For their standards to come up to the Premier League, and
abysmal
to play the way they've been playing. Yeah, I know they came up to the Premier League, but like, how did they get themselves back to the Premier League? I'll never know, man. How they got back? how they got themselves back to the Premier League, I will never know. I'm
9
probably
losses.
I'm probably I'm just gonna go with I'm just gonna go straight abysmal. I don't even need to
Yeah.
discuss. They
Not much
they
to say about them. They've just been rubbish.
I like Southampton. You know, Cameron Archer's got them playing some decent football. Like I was just watching them. They actually play all right. Like I watched them against Man City. They didn't play badly against Man City. So I don't know, man. Cameron Archer's a decent. Looks like a decent player. They got. So they got. Who is this? Who is this guy from Southampton? That's like I forgot his name. Like one of the players.
Was he an attacker?
Yeah, he's an attacker. He's an attacker. Actually, let me have a look. I swear, I remember one of these players that Southampton just was it like.
Well, Adam Armstrong. They've also got
Oh, Dibbling.
Dibbling. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tyler Dibbling. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I'm gonna go with abysmal, straight up.
Yeah. They've been very poor this season, but it's there's not much they can do. They just
This is one.
they're not
Yeah.
they're not Premier League level at the moment. They just don't have the
No.
Premier League level.
This is one we can discuss though. Brighton. This is the one we can discuss. I'd say good season. I think they've had a good season.
Yeah, definitely good. They're sixth, joint points on 19 points. So they've won 5, drawn 4, lost 2, positive goal difference. I've actually enjoyed watching them play as well. I think I like the way they play. Baleba, they've got some good talented young players.
Young manager.
I don't know.
Hurtzler.
Young manager.
Yeah, as well. I think he's like what 31 years old.
31.
That's the youngest manager I think ever, right? I swear.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they've had some good wins as well. They look like a team that can compete on any given weekend. They just beat City, and they didn't just they beat City. You know what I mean? So that's not many teams. Not many teams can do that to City, and they did, and they came back from 1-0 behind as well.
The next team we're about to talk about did to City, but yeah, I probably say good. I think Brighton had a good season. Based on the way they've been playing, based on the results they've been getting, they've been good. But Brighton are way too overhyped. Like just in general, I think for me, Brighton is just very overhyped. What do you think?
No, I don't think they're overhyped. I think you know what I like? I like that they always evolved. So they all when they lost Graham Potter, they bring in De Zerbi. When they lose De Zerbi, they bring in Holtler. I like the way that they look at the recruitment of managers and players. I don't think they ever really miss. And you can see it. Like they lose a Moises Caicedo, they bring in a Baleba. They lose any kind of player, they bring in another one. They've got the likes of João Pedro, even Ferguson up top. They've got a lot of talented players in their team. The Matomas, stuff like that. So I just like I like the way they recruit and the way they move.
I love Mitoma as a player. For me, as an Asian person, yeah, I love seeing Asian players going to strive in the Premier League. I like players like Park Ji Sung, Son Heung-min, players like Shinji Kagawa. I would have loved to see him strive. He won the Premier League with us. Obviously, Karu Mitoma as well. And I'm not a massive Liverpool. I don't hate Liverpool. Like I despise them. I don't hate them. I despise them. Yeah, but Wataru Endo, I respect him. I respect Endo. I really do. Yeah. All these players that they go to the league and strive, and so yeah, I'm gonna go with good for Brighton. I think they've been good. We'll see what they do come second half of the season so far, but I don't know.
They got a small squad. That's the only issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with good. Excuse me. Bournemouth. This is interesting. Because Bournemouth have been very up and down. They lost to Leicester 1-0. They beat Man City. They beat Arsenal 2-0, although a 10-man Arsenal. Even though Arsenal They didn't have a fit squad that day. What do you think? I know.
I would say average. I think they've had good scalps in terms of wins, but they've lost to Brentford. They've
Mm,
lost to teams that they shouldn't have lost to, and beaten teams that they shouldn't have beaten. So I think
yeah.
they're just like middle of the road. They're an eclectic team in terms of like middle of the table. You never know what you're gonna get for them. So
Mm.
yeah, I would just say average so far. I think they've just been
They're
average.
above us. They're above us on the same points, the same everything apart from goals scored, and we've conceded and they've conceded just about more, but they've scored more goals. But everything's
Yeah,
tied with United. So yeah, on that, I'm probably gonna say average season. I think they've been
yeah,
average. I think they could do, but I think they could do a lot better.
yeah.
But
Definitely,
but
they
but
definitely
some
have the potential
but
to.
the fact that they beat two of the title contending teams just tells me that I think you know what. Could we say? Actually, no, we can't say good. No, we can't say good.
No, they're not. They're not enough for good. Is
We'll
I do
keep.
like Semenyo though from their team. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
going
yeah.
to get a big move.
And Kirkes as well is a decent left
Yeah,
back as
Kirkes
well.
is a quality left back. Yeah,
Yeah. Um. But considering that people talk about Glasner and the way Bournemouth play football, yeah, like, do you think it's a bit? Do you think it's been a bit off for them? Do you think they should be higher? Do you think they should be? But like, do you think it should be lower? Do you think it should be where they are? What do you think?
what for Bournemouth?
Yeah. Do you think they're at the right position? Or do you think they should be lower? Or do you think it should be
I
higher?
think they're where they expect to be. Probably not
Mm,
good. Not in the not bad enough to be in the relegation kind of
yeah.
for the teams, but not
Mm,
good enough yet to consider themselves to be European standard.
right.
So considering their standing as a team,
Mm,
anywhere from 10th to 14th is probably where you expect them to be in terms of Premier League teams. So if they're in that position, they've just had an average season. If they're like 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th going for Europe, then that's where you can say they've had a good season. And then if they're in towards the relegation zone, that's when you can say they've had a poor season. But for me, I just think they're just where they're meant to be. Not nothing higher, nothing lower.
mm. That's fair. That's fair. How about yeah? So Bournemouth next, Manchester City. I'll let you have your say on this one because I
Me
hate them as
personally,
well.
I would say average. They're
Considering
still
they're only 5 points off the top though, but yeah.
yeah.
Go.
I would say average just because they're 5 points of the top, but because of their standard, they've already lost
Mm,
2 games, drawn 2.
yeah.
They've been very poor recently. They've four
At
games
Montreal,
without a
they've been
win, 4 losses in a row. So, and even if you ask City fans, when you listen to City fans, they seem worried about their team right now in
yeah.
a way that I haven't ever seen
Because
them worried.
they had the most elite, like we call they've got the most elite standards as a fan base in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And obviously, I remember shout out Big Steve. Yeah, Big Steve was saying that City could have been 4-0 down at home against Brentford. I remember they were playing at home against Brentford. And I heard Big Steve say they could have been 4-0 down. I watched the game against Inter. They could have lost that game against Inter as well.
Mm. Yeah, they
So
definitely.
Man City have had a lot of games where they've gotten away with it this season. I can't lie. I've been telling people that Man City have not looked great, and
Yeah.
finally the results caught up to them. But I know that they've been missing Rodri, but that's still not an excuse, man. From the title contending team like Man City, they brought Gundogan back, but what has Gundogan really done since he's come back? I know
Not a lot. Not a lot.
his age is not like where he should be and everything, but they brought it back for like squad depth purposes. They replaced Calvin Phillips with Ilkay Gundogan, so that's not a bad thing. But what I'm saying is that they've their results have been really poor this season, and they got absolutely thumped by Ruben Amorim and Sporting Lisbon.
As well. Yeah. So I would say poor season
I'm
for
pro-
them as well.
I wouldn't go poor yet because City are still 5 points off the top of the league,
No,
and
but because of the
they've only,
nature of the losses that they've had, I would say poor. Because I
I
think
wouldn't say
they've been very lucky to be where they are. They could be worse.
I wouldn't say poor yet because the thing is, yeah, I would probably go like as far as I probably say how do you say it? I probably say average as of now because I still think because the fact that they're only 5 points off the top of the league, right? And they've only lost their first game in the Champions League this week, and they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. I know they lost 2 games in the league, but it's still not over till it's over. I'm waiting to see what they do in the next 2 games. They've got Tottenham at home and Liverpool away. That's where people can make the real big judgment of Man City this season. So as of now, I'm gonna say average.
You know what? Considering what you've said, yeah, we'll put them in average for now.
I'll probably go with average, even though I still think City is still gonna be title contenders. Like there's nothing will change. But going to Anfield next week is gonna be hella fucking tough. It's going to be really tough, especially with the way Liverpool are playing right now, and and Man City's recent record at Anfield is not good. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the average for Man City. Fulham have brought in some good players. They brought in Joachim Anderson. They brought in Emil Smith Rowe. New lease of life for Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe's been quite good for Fulham. I think they need to build around Smith Rowe, in my opinion. Got players like Iwobi, got players like Mitrovic, got players like Adama. They don't have a bad team, you know. They don't have a bad team. But where are they in the league is my question. Let me bring that up, actually.
They're 7th, joint 18 points with Newcastle and Villa.
So what we said about Brighton, yeah, I know Brighton have had a 1 point off. I'd probably say Fulham have had a good season.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would put Fulham good because considering they're not meant to be there, they're a mid-table team for me. So they're above their station. They were in the European race. They shouldn't really be there, in my opinion, even with the players they have. So
yeah, I probably say good season for Fulham as of now. This is just talking about as of now, people. We're not talking about what's going to happen down the line. So if people are tuning in, yeah, just make sure that this is just about what's happened so far, not what's happened, not what will happen months down the line. This is what's happened from mid-August till early November. So don't get it mixed up, people. Newcastle. This is, for me, poor.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would just say average.
I'll tell you why. Newcastle finished outside the top 4 last season, yeah? Before that, they finished in the top 4. They got Champions League football. They got knocked out of the Champions League unluckily by a dodgy VAR penalty decision, right? Last season was the season where owners could have been more serious, because Newcastle have got the richest owners in world football. No one comes close to that. They've got the money to spend. They can easily get through the PSR stuff. They could have easily splashed money at somebody. They got Sandro Tonali the year before. They have Bruno Guimaraes. They've got Jonathan. Excuse me, not Jonathan. I keep getting mixed up with this NBA player, Jonathan Isaac. It's Alexander Isaac. Excuse me. Alexander Isaac, or Isaac, whatever it is. They've got Trippier, decent players. They got Botman. But Newcastle had the money, and it's not an excuse for Newcastle, in my opinion, to be where they are right now. I know they've had injuries. I know Isak's been out. I know they've not been at all this. But you had the money to spend, and you should have gone. You should maybe, in my opinion, they should get rid of Eddie Howe. In my opinion, I think it's time to get rid of Eddie Howe, and go for someone that can maybe get you challenging. Because you know why? Newcastle are at the stage where now it's time to start getting serious. They've kept Eddie Howe on for too long. I think it's not been a bad manager for Newcastle. But what I think it's time for Newcastle to get new owner, a new manager, and new players, right? New manager, new players, not new players, not the whole team, but they've got a good team. But it's time for Newcastle to start showing the money where it's due. They need to start. They need to start showing that money now because Newcastle have the richest owners in world football. I'm gonna say it again. They've got they're owned by people from like Saudi Arabia. So what does that? So what's the excuse for Newcastle to not go and get to not go and spend where they've got the money in their pockets? I'm only
Um,
based off the transfer window, but where they're on the table right now, where they're on the table, they're eighth. Brighton next to Brighton, Fulham. I'd probably say average, actually.
yeah.
Because
Um,
considering Newcastle have got the money, considering Newcastle have got the owners, yeah, to go and spend whatever they want, yeah, and considering they had injuries, I'd probably go average.
I agree with average. In regards to the money thing, the problem is with the way the rules are now with PSR, they have to make money in order for them to spend money. And because Newcastle aren't that big in terms of the global fan base, they can't they don't make enough money for them to for the owners to put in enough because you only
That's
can put in a certain amount.
that's bullshit. Because you know why? The owners have the owners have the amount of money that these owners put into Newcastle when they bought the club.
Yeah, but
I'm, I'm
that's
not I'm
only
not I'm not, saying, I'm not saying what you're saying is bullshit. I'm just saying the PSR thing is bullshit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it
it's
is.
I think it's time to scrap this PSR thing. I don't know why they even came up with this PSR shit. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand. It's preventing a lot of owners from spending pocket money, their own pocket money. How can you tell someone to not spend their own pocket? How can you tell someone to not be allowed to spend their own pocket money? Excuse me. How can you tell someone that they can't spend their own pocket money when it's not even your money? It's theirs. They can spend how much ever the fuck they want. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Premier League's money to even control how much they can spend. United can spend how much they want. City can spend how much they want. Chelsea should be able to spend how much they want. Newcastle should be able to spend how much they want. Why would Newcastle need PSR? You know what it is? Because Newcastle can easily pay out of the way to PSR. They can easily pay out of PSR. They've got all the money in the world to get out of trouble. They ain't in any trouble anytime soon if they can spend it. Newcastle have barely spent as much since the owners took over, in my opinion at least.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
want to
think
see
they've spent a
Newcastle.
lot in the infrastructure, and I think they're going to spend a lot towards the academy and stuff like that, which in the
Yeah.
future will help them. But currently, I just think they can't because with the way the PSR rules are set,
Mm.
if they go against PSR, they'll get points deductions, and let's be honest,
And that's where I think the Premier League needs to bin this PSR thing. Personally,
yeah. So
I'm
for
I'm not going.
Newcastle, it's just a struggle to bring in players at the moment because
Yeah.
they need to sell to buy, and with the players, some of the players that they want to keep are the ones that have the value. So it's it's a kind of thing where Newcastle's going to take
Oh,
maybe 5 to 10 seasons for them to get to that level.
I've just got some breaking news, people. Olympic Lyon have been handed provisional League Two relegation.
Oh, mad.
If they don't pay off their debts, and at the end of the season, they'll be officially relegated to League Two.
Leon, that's a team. That's a
Lyon,
team of.
they were
Fine.
just in the Champions League with Memphis Depay a couple or 2 or 3 years ago. This is
They used to
mad.
win League One a lot. Are they like, how
They
many
used
League
to,
Ones they
bro.
dominate
But
it?
yeah, we'll get onto the news at the end of the stream. Yeah,
Yeah, they won 7 in a row. That's mad.
it is crazy. Real talk, it is crazy. Man, this is mad, bro. They can't get relegated, man. They're one of the biggest. You just seen Bordeaux been expelled from football, and now you're gonna
Yeah,
see and now you're gonna see Lyon be relegated to League Two, man. Like, bro, what's happening in France, man? I don't understand. Because especially with them bringing up a lot of Algerian, a lot of good players as well. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but back to this. I think Newcastle will go. I think we could say poor or average for Newcastle. I'm gonna go with average, just for the sake of it.
I think average because if pool for me would be if they were like 11th, 12th, 13th kind of positions. Because I think for now to
Hmm.
compare, because the
Yeah,
amount of money they're allowed to spend and the rules that are kind of against them in terms of their ownership,
yeah.
I don't think you're going to see the Newcastle at the heights of heights for the next maybe.
Also, bro,
5, 10 seasons.
move Wolves after Chelsea, before Chelsea, so we can talk about Chelsea last. 'Cause I think Chelsea is where we can get into actual depth about it. I think Wolves is just plain simple for this one. Everton, abysmal, real talk.
Yeah.
Like for
Absolutely.
me, Everton deserve relegation. How do you bottle a 2-0 home lead against Bournemouth? How do you bottle a 2-0 home lead against Bournemouth and you're moving to a new stadium soon. Next season you're moving to a new stadium. And if you get relegated, man, imagine being in the championship and in that new stadium. It's a nice it's a decent stadium. But for what Everton, for a club that Everton are, like they've got a bit of history with them, right? I don't. This is poor from Everton, man. It's been terrible. Like I don't know how they're just like they should be actually bro, move Leicester to abysmal actually, because Everton and Leicester are on the same points.
Yeah, but with Leicester, you have to remember that they've just got promoted, whereas Everton are an established Premier League club.
True. Good point. Actually,
It's different. It's different levels. Like Leicester are just here, so it's
Leicester
poor.
Leicester above Everton, just about
Yeah,
on literally like goals
goals
scored.
scored. So, but like for
Yeah.
Everton, that's not where they meant to be. They're meant to be mid-table, maybe even pushing for Europe. They're one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. They're probably like seventh
So
or
too
eighth.
at Leicester, by the way. So too at Leicester. Let's not forget Leicester City were also sorry to go back to Leicester, but Leicester City were challenging for top four and they bottled it twice, 2 years running. They bottled it twice and they couldn't get, and they bottled the I think Conference League not Conference League. They bottled the Europa League semi-final or something like that. I can't remember when it was, but or they bottled the Conference League semi-final or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's mad, bro. I think Everton are abysmal. I think they should, if Everton get away with this, if Everton get back into the Premier League, like sorry, excuse me, if Everton stay up in the Premier League right now, they caught life. They
Yeah,
really
they
caught,
still might as well.
especially with the points deduction that their owners have that they've been through and stuff. But I'm gonna say abysmal for Everton. But what do you think? You can elaborate on this, bro. I don't mean to talk so much, but you can
No,
elaborate.
it's all good. I think Everton's just been poor this season. I haven't really liked the way they've played, and
Same.
they're just lucky that there are teams just as bad as them or even worse than them around them at the moment. Because that's probably the only reason why they're not in the relegation zone.
Ipswich,
Palace, Wolves, and Southampton.
exactly. So just about there. Let's just throw Wolves into abysmal, and I think I'd say the same for I'd say the same. I say this exact same reason as Everton. Wolves had the players, but they let them all go. And I think they're more of like a team that that were once mid-table, but then they completely dropped, and I think they deserve to get relegated. Personally, I think they have somewhat decent, they have some decent players, but the manager's not doing a fantastic job. They just got their first win after a long time as well. Let's not forget they just got their first win after a long time. So let's not let's not beat over the bush with this one. I'm just gonna say abysmal for Wolves, and you can continue your saying, bro.
Yeah, Wolves have been abysmal. It's been a shame because the thing about Wolves is that for Gary O'Neill as well is that they haven't been bad in terms of the games. Like you watch them play and you see what they're trying to do, but defensively they've just conceded too many goals, and there's been many games where they've just been on the wrong side of things. So I think they're a team that can turn it around, but they're in the relegation zone, and what they're doing right now, you can only put them in abysmal for now. But I think there could be a team that could come out of that relegation zone and be replaced by an Everton or an Ipswich very easily if they get a good run of games. So for now, abysmal, but you never know. They can get up to the average, have an average season by the end of the season. They can turn it around.
But last but not least, King, your club Chelsea. I'm gonna let you have your say on this. I'm gonna let you go on. Like you can talk about it as long as you want. This is your club, mate. You can start first. You can go on, bro.
For me, I think it's been a good season. There's been parts of the season that I haven't liked. You got knocked out of the Carabao Cup to Newcastle. I don't really take the Conference League as a competition like that because we should be winning those games anyway. What I have liked is Enzo Maresca has put out a clear plan of different teams are. So you've got your first team for the Premier League games, and you've got your second tier team for the League Cup and Conference League, and it's kind of putting players against each other to compete for positions, which I like. And when players have played well in the Conference Leagues and the League Cups, they've had opportunities to prove themselves in the Premier League games, and then maybe even take the starting position, such as a Pedro Neto. But yeah, overall, I think there's been games, especially recent weeks, again with the draws against Arsenal and United. We needed to win those games. I am happy that we're third, but I think we could have easily been third with a comfortable gap to the rest of the team. So that's the only issue. Like the fact that from third to 13th is 4 points is a problem for me. But yeah, I just think compared to last season and Pochettino's style of football and everything, I just think overall it's been a good season. Now it's not been amazing yet, but it's on the verge of doing that if we can continue. And we have a good run of games coming up. So if we can get in a good run of form after this international break, I think top four is definitely in our sights. But I definitely want our team to win the FA Cup and Conference League. I need to see my team lift trophies. It's been too long since I've seen the trophy lift, and that's the only issue that I've really had, is that we got out of the League Cup, a competition that against the team that we should be in terms of Newcastle. So for me, overall, it's been a good season so far, but nothing more than that.
I completely agree with you. I think Chelsea have had a really, really good season. I think considering from what you guys have been through the last 2 years, I think Enzo Maresca has come in and done a fantastic job. I think I was very skeptical about Enzo Maresca at first. I thought he was going to be like a very weird appointment by Chelsea, but it actually turned out to be a very decent appointment by Chelsea. You've actually kind of done so well so far. I think what's questionable is big game management. Is in game big game management. If you know what I'm saying, a lot of the games where Chelsea just don't have that mentality to get over the line against big teams, right? Against Arsenal, against Arsenal per se, you were 1-0 down. Against United, you were 1-0 down. Against Liverpool, Anfield, you guys played well. I think you guys were unlucky that day. And at home against Man City, you lost the game, but you couldn't take your chances. That's the problem with Chelsea. And I think they've had a good season. I think being knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Newcastle was kind of inexcusable in a way, because you've got the squad depth in it as a whole. And obviously, I need to mention about Wolves as well. Wolves also did not replace Pedro Neto. That's why they're in the position they are right now, and that's why they're in trouble. So you guys got Pedro Neto from Wolves, and that's been a really, really good signing by Chelsea. You signed Sancho from us. You got Felix. You got Nkunku. Obviously, there might be some unhappy players there, but at the same time, you got the depth in the whole. You got the depth in the Premier League. Like you could make 3-4 teams with the squad, and I think for me, the biggest issue with Chelsea so far has been your defense. I think your defense has let you down so many games. I think
Yeah,
I
and the
think
goalkeeper.
yeah. I think, but the fact that Chelsea have signed a lot of goalkeepers is where I think you can replace Sanchez no problem, and I feel like Chelsea right now, you will finish top four. I think Chelsea will finish top four. I know I predicted them to finish fifth at the start of the season, but you know what? Considering the circumstances, considering everything, I know you guys spent a lot of money, and I think you should not be in the top four by now. You should be competing for the league by now, especially you're 3 years in after spending a billion or two, right? For me, Chelsea should be challenging for the league title after all that money spent, right? And I think you've got a lot of ruthless fans. I think you got a lot of fans that have elite standards as well. So I think Chelsea will get back to the top in no time. But I think it's been a good season by Chelsea. Where I see the issues with Chelsea is, can they prolong this? Can they continue this for a whole season? Is my question. I think Chelsea should. I think Chelsea, no problem, should win the Conference League. That should be number one. That should be ticked off your list. Conference League. That should be a win for Chelsea, especially with the squad that you have. You can easily play anyone in the Conference League and you'll win, right? FA Cup. I think you guys might win the FA Cup. I think that's a trophy that Chelsea have a really good chance of winning this year. I think that's where I think Chelsea should go for the FA Cup. Top four. top four. Chelsea should take that top four very, very seriously. How many points are you off Liverpool? I think 9 points off Liverpool, right?
Yeah, same points as Arsenal
You could have. The thing is, for me, you could have caught up to Man City by now.
Yeah, with the right results, we could have. That's the frustration.
And losing to Man City at home was not helpful. I think you guys.
Yeah.
I think you guys couldn't have gotten a draw out of that game. I think you guys actually played all right against Man City, but the problem is Savinho just tore apart that that left hand side, and obviously he didn't. Yeah, and obviously you guys just didn't take your chances. I think Cole Palmer's been a positive for Chelsea. I think he's been a massive player for Chelsea. I think you need to keep hold of Cole Palmer, build a team around him, make sure you stabilize. Your sort of like formation, everything around this guy. He's probably been great, but yeah, that's been the tier list. Let's just go through it all. So amazing Liverpool. I think we keep that's ticked off. I think good. I think we'll keep Fulham. Do you know what? I might move Fulham down to average. As much as actually no. Yeah, move Fulham down to average. I think move Fulham down to average.
Do you think so? Because they're.
I think so. I would move I would move Tottenham up to poor. I'd just move Tottenham up to poor. Because they're still in all competitions, so I move them up to poor, considering the recent results.
But what Fulham are in 7th? I wouldn't call that an average season for them. Sure. 18 points, or 1 point behind. They're basically 1 point behind.
I would have definitely said Villa good season, but the thing with Villa, they've only done well in the Champions League, so I'm going to keep them an average. Brentford average, Bournemouth average, City average, Newcastle average. That's fair. Arsenal, Leicester. Let's move Leicester down to abysmal, in my opinion, because actually, you know what? Keep them there. Ipswich, abysmal. I'll be harsh, but they just got their first win. Or do you want to just keep them there?
Oh, we can move them to abysmal.
Do you think so? Actually, yeah, I'll keep them at poor. Actually, keep them at poor.
Yeah, I don't know, because they haven't been as bad as these 6 teams this season in terms of what they expected.
I would move Arsenal up to average, because I still think Arsenal are within 9 points off. I know it's not that's a lot, but considering they're still in all competitions as well, you got to consider that factor. Arsenal is still in every single competition. That's the thing.
I would move Nottingham Forest up to amazing.
I think amazing. You can only keep the 4-1 team, because the thing is with Liverpool, they're top of the league, right? And because you can't have Forest a level with Liverpool. That's the thing. I know they beat Liverpool, but the thing with Liverpool is they've only lost 1 game and drawn 1 game. That's the thing. And Forest have lost both games at home. At the same time, though, they lost the Carabao Cup game. They're not in any other competitions. I just keep them in good for now. We'll come back and look again in March, maybe January, February, March, something like that, around that time. We'll do this tier list again, 100%. We're gonna do this again later on the season, people. So make sure you tune in, make sure you like and subscribe. Obviously, there's 20 of you in the building. Please make sure you head over to the YouTube link and subscribe. Subscribe to King. His title, his link will be in the title. And obviously, you make sure you show us some love in the comments. Make sure you keep it respectful. Share your opinions, share your thoughts. What do you guys think of this tier list? I actually think we've done quite well with this. I can't lie. I think there's not really much to argue about. I probably go with I think this is fine. And yeah, I think agree with this. But yeah, people, make sure you subscribe as well, because obviously I need to get to 100 soon. I'm on 84 right now. I'd love to get to 100. So if there's 20 of you in the building, please make sure you just go and hit the like button. Make sure you go hit the subscribe button. I could easily reach 100 by now. But yeah, people, that's just been us for today. I will be back later for the Ruben Amorim press conference reaction. So make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you show King some love. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. King, bro, what do you got coming up, man? Before we wrap up.
Nothing. I'll probably be on this channel a couple more times for some Formula One and any shows. Outside of that, nothing else.
Got a lot more show ideas coming up, people. We'll be doing fantasy draft. We'll be doing top 5 debates in every position in the Premier League. We might do a quiz soon. We'll do F1. We'll do international break roundup. We'll do more news streams again, and we'll be doing the F1 preview next year. So make sure you tune into all that, people. Make sure you make sure you keep the notification bell on. Make sure you subscribe and all the good stuff. But people, that's just been us for today. Also, I would like to give a shout out to all my fellow Sikh community out there. Happy Gurpurab as well, and bless, because today's a very special day in our religion. So I would love to send my best wishes to all of you, and congratulations on this very holy day. And but yeah, people, that's just been us for today. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all the good stuff. I'll be back later with the Rumor press conference reaction with a guest here. So yeah, make sure you check that out. And yeah, people, see us later.